This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. This week on the Heart of the Gulch YouTube show, we sit down with musician, actress, and songwriter Twinnie. In today's Walk the Line episode, we follow Twinnie as she makes history as the first British artist to sing the U.S. national anthem at GEODIS Park for the Nashville SC game. Let's check out the episode. We are in the heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, and today, the British are coming. The British are here. We got the one and only musician, actress, Twinnie in the building. One more applause there.
Thank you. So cool.
You were not expecting the energy just popped up, right?
No. I was like, got applause? Anything else you've got on that thing?
I got a lot of sounds here.
Oh, really?
Yes, I can play a lot of sounds. Now, first of all, Twinnie, let's talk about... let's go straight into it. You got some pretty cool, exciting things coming up at the end of this year.
Yes, I've got an album, my second album. I can't believe it's been 4 years. So I'm like, what are you going to play?
Yeah, no, it's always going to be applause, so don't worry.
Yeah, and I'm an actress as well, so I'm filming a TV show, which is awesome. But yeah, lots of things, lots of shows, doing... Randomly, it's quite ironic. I'm singing the national anthem. I say GEODIS Park, but it's GEODIS, right?
Yeah, GEODIS, you got it.
Yeah. And apparently I'm going to make history because I'm the first British person to do it, which I don't think... I don't know whether we should clap for that because I'm like...
That's amazing.
It's quite ironic. This song is like freedom from us, so...
Well,
I don't know.
I guess when you put it like that, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense.
I'm like, I'll just have to, y'all talking this accent. I'm from Alabama, for them.
Twinnie, we were talking about this before you got into the studio here, how amazing it is that, Nashville's kind of wrapped their arms around you. Mm-hmm. I mean, shout out to you making it on, the Grand Ole Opry.
Thank you.
And that was absolutely, I looked at the video. Yeah, I know. I pressed the button a lot, so I apologize on that. But I was watching the video of your Grand Ole Opry debut, and it seemed like a dream.
It was. It still feels like a dream, to be honest. Like, even, like, artists that I really, really respect that have been going, like, I can't believe that I managed to play the same stage as them. It was really wild. And I said to my stylist, I was like, I want it to look like I'm getting married without the groom.
You looked beautiful.
It was very over the top, but that's me. So, and it's probably the most present I've ever been. Like, I just wanted to enjoy every single second of that. And Jamie Johnson made that happen for me. He was awesome. Such a legend. And it just was so nice when I looked at the side of the stage. This industry can be like very up and down. It's 100%. Like a constant roller coaster. You're like, am I good enough? Is this like, there's so many like goalposts that change all the time. But to kind of make my Opry debut was definitely like a nod from the community and from my peers and everyone. It was so nice for everyone that supported me like all those years to be like, hey, we're here. This is a great moment. And it was just like, that was lovely to share with those people because they really have. Like, I've slept on people's sofas. I've like borrowed cars. My car broke down today, actually. I'm borrowing Lucy Silver's car. So I feel like Nashville really took me under its wing. And I know that Nashville is not like that for everyone. It can be a really hard experience. But yeah, it was just, it really felt like, I don't know, that's one of the things I loved about it because it was all about community and people really do show up for people when they need. There's a healthy competition in this town. But mostly I just love seeing people win. And it feels like that energy is very much here. And I love that.
I love that because, speaking about the entire town, kind of feeling like a family, let's bring it back to, what it was like in York.
Yeah.
Because you talk about
Yorkshire.
family.
Yeah,
Yorkshire, is that how you say it?
Yeah. Oh, where I'm from, people talk like this, like real slow, actually. So if you just put an American accent on it, it sounds like country anyway. Um, I'm one of four. I'm the oldest of four. Grew up as my dad's a gypsy traveller, Romani traveller, and my mum's a gorger, which means non-traveller in Rumnus, which is a travelling language, gypsy language. And it's funny that I've ended up in Nashville because I feel like I've like mirrored this in my adult life. Mm-hmm. I always was like trying to fit in with the kids at school, the non-travellers, and then trying to be somebody else. Just felt like I was two people. A version of me is Gypsy Twinnie and then Gorgeous Twinnie. And then like that was kind of an internal struggle. I feel like I'm no different to anybody else. I feel like everybody goes through that. But having two parents that were from completely different cultures and seeing those worlds collide, it's really interesting now being an adult and being in Nashville. I love creating, whether that be script writing, TV, doing shows, writing, singing in the studio, whatever. But yeah, I think like one of my biggest things now as an artist is like showing up as your authentic self, true self. And I don't have to choose, I get that a lot. Like, what are you? Like, are you country? Are you pop? I'm like, well, country pop, and pop is just popular music, and it's great. It's like mental because it's like blowing up all over the world now, and I've been doing this for like the past 10 years, even back in my home country when country wasn't really cool.
That's actually something I want to touch on, but we'll touch on in a second. I'm very curious to know what your parents were listening to while you were growing up and how that has maybe altered your influence today.
Well, my dad was listening to Billy Joel, like Bob Dylan, Garth Brooks, Queen. My first job was with Queen, actually. Brian May, he gave me my first job in a musical. And my mum was listening to like Elton John, ABBA, Shania, Gilbert O'Sullivan, if you know him. I think he's a sick songwriter. And I grew up on like Hollywood movie musicals. Like I was kind of drama queen. Like I love to make people laugh. A lot of if we're going to get real deep
what was your favorite musical?
That I did was probably Chicago. I played Velma in Chicago. It's like the best entrance, all that jazz ever. But I would say like one of like MGM musicals, probably something like Singing in the Rain. Like, I love all the dancing. And I learned very quickly. In my house, there was a lot of like, my mum and dad with different cultures. They sometimes just didn't get on. They ended up divorcing, but there was like, I often felt like I was a referee. So I'm being the oldest child, especially the oldest girl. I was like, figuring out really quickly how to make people laugh. If I can make somebody laugh, it kind of disarms them. So I spent a lot of time like trying to like just be the joker and detract, like take the attention away from what was actually happening and like entertain my siblings, would make them do shows or put on performances for my mum and dad, like Shania Twain, Dolly, like Reba, like all the greats, anybody that was like big internationally in country, like I loved. And I mean, it's been played all over now, but I love the Spice Girls, any Pink, any like female empowerment. And then I grew up, how I started writing was poems. And I used to listen to randomly a lot of Tupac.
There's nothing wrong with Tupac. I saw that and I thought that was actually really cool that
because the
songwriting.
Yeah, the songwriting and their poets and their cadences, his writing, even now when you go listen to it, it's like what I loved about rappers is like they just tell the truth. They really tell the truth. And I think that has got some synergy in country music. I think the best version of anybody is their truth, but some people don't like the truth. They find it hard to face themselves a lot of the time. And
especially musicians will find a way to kind of spin it to where, their performance act is not who they really necessarily are in person.
Yeah.
And
I think you can attest to that. Like, I think I'm a very, like, an extrovert, and I'm like, like this good time girl that's always up for a party. But the reality is most nights I am at home, like being boring, working and not out. And I find like I'm a bit of an extroverted introvert. Like there's a lot of energy that goes out being an artist all the time that I sometimes I'm around some of my bestest friends and we haven't even caught up. And we're so comfortable in silence. That's how you know someone's a good friend. Do you have friends like that? Like,
100%. I think that is, and speaking to you guys out there, you may actually have some friends that, sometimes you just call just to be around their presence. And that's that type of friendship that, that's everlasting friendship.
Yeah. They say if you've been friends with someone more than 7 years, then they're a friend for life. And I've got a lot of them. I find that's one thing I'm really proud of. I've got like really great friends. I've got really great friends in this town. Not so lucky in love, but my friends definitely like make up for that.
Well, speaking of that, we got to take our first break here. And speaking of our friends, we're going to take a quick pause on the interview so we can thank our friends who are sponsoring the program. And we'll be right back right after this. This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. So you were talking about friendship, and friendship meaning also having a little issue with love. And I'm very curious. I'm curious to know in, the upcoming album, are there songs about it?
I am a car crash when it comes to love. I'm just very pure hearted. I like when I love somebody, I really, really love them. So yeah.
What's a sign that you're getting too deep in this relationship? What's one of your signs?
When I'm not selfish, when I care about their feelings more than mine.
Do you know which, do you like to be presented with gifts? What's that? Is it love language?
Love language.
Yeah, what's your love language?
Yeah, no, not so much gift. I like quality time. I like quality time and maybe
words of affirmation.
Yeah, words of affirmation. And like touch as well, physical touch. So, I don't know, all the things. I think we like everything. But
are love languages located in your upcoming album?
You might find like what love language I am, I guess. I think do you know about the avoidant and anxious attachment? I think I'm an anxious avoidant.
Wait, let them know what that means.
So basically an avoidant tends to run away when they receive love and they find it too much. And anxious like tends to be the chaser and like is the needy one. The idea is that you find someone a secure attachment, that you both feel secure. I mean, I have done so much therapy on this stuff.
Hey, that deserves an applause for that. There's nothing wrong with it.
I was with someone for 10 years on and off, and this is like, this new album is a combination of like all the things that we like went through. And
I thought you're not in your sad girl era anymore.
Yeah, well, we're not, but we wanted to finish the year. Like I released 2 EPs, and to be quite honest, I've got like 2,500 songs sitting on a Dropbox. I was like, what am I going to do with these songs? I was just like, let's just put it out. I'm going on tour at the end of the year, and it was an excuse to give the fans another album because I've not done one of them since my first one, which was in 2020. And the way that I think about music now anyway, because I've been in a major record label and I've been independent and then I got signed and then been independent. It's been up and down. Like, I just love art and I want to produce as much of it while I'm here. We're not here for very long. It's finite. And I think like every song I write, and if it's important to me, I feel like it should be out in the world, regardless of whether it gets like 1 billion streams or whatever. If everybody did it for that, nobody does it for that. But they want to feel a connection with the audience. They want somebody to hear them or like to validate them or like, and I think that's the same for like the fans and stuff. And I think nobody has ever been more happier to be sad. So I was like, let's just like wrap up the year. And then we're going on to Happy Hour, which I'm already writing, which is sick. And it's much more me. It's up-tempo. It's like dancey and I love all that.
Speaking of which, because you talked about the fans and it's super important because we were talking about how, in the UK, country has been really on that upward slope right now. It's huge.
Yeah.
But what's even more impressive is shout out to you guys that are watching this from the UK, because first of all, I found it very interesting that the fans over there in the UK, right? They are so much embedded in the country culture. So can you talk to me the differences in fans versus, you know, American standardized country fans versus UK country fans?
Well, I think Nashville is very spoiled for, like, you know, you're having like big stars come and play in bars and Broadway and like doing charity events. There's always something amazing going on in Nashville. It's awesome. But I think over there it's a bit more like rare. So yeah, I would say the biggest difference, and this is something that like my American friends, artists that have said, is English fans really listen. They really, really listen. They're up for a good time, but they're engaged. It's not like you've got some drunk people at the back that are just like wanting to have a party and sing country music or sing the songs they know. That it's really nice for new artists and like C2C, things like that, country to country. They are like, they're just engaged. Which
Is there a different type of music that works better for UK fans versus American standardized fans? Because you're saying that the musicianship really shines for the folks that are overseas. And then over here, when we talk about, and look, let's be honest here, we're in Nashville, right? We all know what type of fellas and girls are all hanging out on Broadway. They want good music just to listen and have some fun to. But country music in the root of it is all about storytelling.
Yeah.
And I'm just assuming that your fans love to hear you talk about that story of your life.
Just like they're caring about, like, you know, being quiet on quiet songs, and they actually want to hear new music. They're not interested in, like, you know, you go down to Broadway and it's like, just play me the hits that everybody knows. So I'd say that was the biggest difference, to be honest. And now we're like, country is just pop. There's this big old thing all the time of like, that's too pop, or this. I'm like, Hardy and Jelly, they get played on rock radio. Like, I'm waiting. Like, I loved Shania. I think she was revolutionary. Before, like, Taylor, the one before that was Dolly. Like, I just loved her whole show of like how she encapsulates like just the visuals, the style, the like music.
A boss.
Like, she is. And I think like I'm waiting for that to come back because I love to dance. So like I'm a big Shania fan.
You know, your story is very unique because it's not every day, obviously, that there's musicians here in Nashville. Most musicians that come to Nashville are usually from Alabama, Georgia, and all, you know, the y'all
So
states.
happy to be here.
But yeah, oh my gosh, that sounded, wait, do that again. Hold on.
I'm so happy to be here. I love this accent so much.
See, now you're showing me your actress card right now, because that was pretty darn good that you're able to switch it up on the dime.
I love that accent.
All right, you know, this is a real deep question that has nothing to do with music, but I'm going to ask you this anyway.
Okay.
Some of the best actors and actresses all have an accent, and they're able to switch their accent so easily, and you just did it right now.
Yeah.
Is that just a normal thing for folks to be able to do that?
I think I've always had a really good ear, like, for accents. Like, I'm not the best at them, but like I have little characters that I play. So, y'all, this one's Mary Jane, and she does not like Cindy. Cindy is from LA. I hate Mary Jane. So, you know, like Cali Girl. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, I just love the American accent, and I've like grown up watching American TV. So I think I don't even sing I don't even sing in an English accent. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine.
No.
And
it'd be awful. It'd be like, oh, we're totally crazy. No, it's just not.
Wait. Weren't the Spice Girls? The Spice Girls were really open to singing in their British accent.
Not really.
Okay.
It's not like this. Even Mel B, she's like, slam me body down and once it's all around. Slam me body down. That was
Who doesn't
blood
like
dead.
Mel B, by the way? I love it.
I love Mel B. I love all of them. I actually met one of the Spice Girls. That was a big, iconic moment.
So when you were growing up, and obviously you were talking about how music has influenced not only just your life and being able to tell your story, I'm very curious to know, like, performance, because you talked about it, that you've been on stage working for like Chicago, like you said, and then also not being afraid to be in front of a camera. I mean, where did that really come from? That's not something that someone's just, that someone can learn. You have to be born with it.
I think I honestly was just born with being an attention seeker. No, I think, I mean, I watched videos. Me and my mum were like trying to get some content for this song, and we look back on these videos, and I'm like 9 months old, and I am walking, I am talking, and I'm singing. Like, my mum was like, you were a very abnormal child in the way that you were very aware and very in tune. And even I had like this knowing of like, since I've been 4 years old, I wanted to be in America. I wanted to be American. I would make these characters up. I always wanted to be like a singer. I would like put straws,
What's that fascination though? Why?
I don't know. I think people are just born with gifts, and I think that is my gift. And I want to be of service to as many people as possible and share my gift. I've always been like that. I mean, I do that in just general life, I think. Like,
I meant American culture. So what is it about American culture outside of the States?
I think it's just like the way that it just feel like you've got a different kind of attitude. Like in England, they like you to prove it, and then they'll pat you on the back. Whereas I think like Americans, like even when I came here, people were willing to meet with me, even though I was a nobody. Do you know what I mean? They're willing to give people a chance. I even felt that in like pilot season when I used to go over and I was meeting these big directors. And I was like, opposite me was like big actresses going in. I was like, why am I here right now? Not that you don't have to earn it, but it does feel like people will give you a shot. And you guys, you're very loud. You're very exaggerated, like you're very shoot for the stars. Like anything is possible, like
but
that.
So are you.
I am as a person, but I don't think British people they're very like taught to be very like reserved. Like, for instance, me and my friend were laughing about this. Like a small thing going wrong is a massive deal. For like British people, it's a huge deal. We're never happy. If it rains, we're miserable. If it's sunny, oh, it's too hot. It's like you can never please us. Do you know what I mean? We're very dry. We're very like we have that kind of sarcastic kind of humor, like, but we're very reserved. And anything that is a big, massive problem, we are. Oh, okay. Cool, we'll get on it. We're just like taught like stiff upper lip, carry on. Do you know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter how many times you knock me down, I'm getting back up.
But that also goes the opposite way, going back to your music, that you love hard. So if you have
I just think I love having a hard life. I should pick a different career. I should be just like a checkout girl or something. My life would be so much easier. I could make so many people laugh.
You know how fast you would shine at something like, so I think about Nashville, moving to Nashville. I feel like you just basically, when you walk into a room, just from your voice alone, you're getting the attention. Just from your tone, just from your attitude, and also
probably because I'm about 7 foot tall, and they're like, "Who's that British bird?"
But then when they hear you sing and they hear the music that you put out, it's gorgeous music.
Thank you.
But I'm curious to know what is what's a stage that's really gotten you a little stage fright outside of the Grand Ole Opry?
The Grand Ole Opry actually didn't make me nervous.
Really? Not at all?
I was really surprised. I was nervous before I walked on to step onto the circle. And then when I started singing, I wasn't nervous at all. I wasn't. I don't know. It felt like an out-of-body experience. It was
That's what they all say. What does that mean for the people that'll never be on that stage?
I don't know. I think just like whether you believe in God or like the universe, I felt like something, when they say like you're in the flow of stuff, I feel like there's some songs that have just come through me. They're not from me. They've just come through me. I did play Wembley for like, I was back in, I've done it twice actually.
You say that so like nonchalantly.
Yeah,
bro.
but
like, you sang at Wembley, bro. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was like 96,000 people. I was singing the national anthem, but that got me a bit frightened because I did that, and then I did it at Tottenham, and it was just as many people, but that one scared the shit out of me. Sorry, I don't know whether I could swear, but I was really scared because I was on top of the stadium on a roof, and they had to like anchor me in, and they're like, I saw the guy was like, so you'll see me do this. And I got up there and I couldn't even see him. I was like, have I got my readers? I haven't even got my readers on. I can't see him. And I just saw this little tiny stick figure go. And I was like, I don't know when to come in. And then the music came in. And I was like, God save our gracious queen. And I'm absolutely terrified because I'm like up on this roof. So yeah, that kind of got me a little bit nervous.
You talk about nerves. Performing for 1,000 people, freak people out that sit in that chair. Performing for tens of thousands of people. I mean, at a certain point, when you're performing for an audience that big, where are you looking at? Are you looking at anyone?
I'm just saying, God, please be with me right now. Just let me sing the right notes. Just
take me into your eyes. So you're on stage. Let's just use the Grand Ole Opry, for example. There's so many eyes staring at you. Mm-hmm. And when you get in your zone and you get into your music, do you look at a certain individual in the crowd? Are you looking at multiple people? Are you looking at the cameras? What are you doing?
Well, I'm usually, at that point, I was looking at my dress to see if I was going to trip over it. But yeah, like I'll perform it. Sometimes I pick people out that need me to sing to them. Or like I'm just drawn to them.
Have you ever made anyone blush doing that?
I've made people blush. I've made people cry. I haven't made anybody angry on the stage.
Which one means more to you when you see crying?
Yeah.
What does that do for like, for example, I don't think a lot of people make people cry from their talents. No. That's not a normal thing.
Yeah, I feel like it like kind of touches somebody's soul. So it's like I'm like, oh, it was real. It was real for me, so it's real for you.
That doesn't make you cry?
Can make me emotional. Yeah, there's a couple of songs on this record that is still hard for me to listen to for sure.
You're not going to tell us any names of these records, right?
Can I? Maybe. Some of them are out already, so they'll just be on the album. But there's a song called "The Way I Loved You," which is basically about my 10-year relationship. And his voice is actually on. I put his voice on there. It's quite toxic, really. But I had this like male voice, and I was like, he tells me he loves me, and it ended really badly. He emailed me to tell me it was over. He blocked me on everything. I never got any closure. So that was him being on that song for me was like, I want to remember you this way, and also I want to like grieve the life that I've just had to say goodbye to, but also celebrate the love that we did have. I think honestly that is one of the best songs I've ever written. Yeah, so it means a lot to me that.
What's it like to hold on to so much work? Because I think about, even here in the heart of the Gulch, there's a lot of interviews that have never seen the light of day. Mm-hmm. And it makes me a little anxious because every interview in my mind gets a little older. So it's not as apparent when you put it out. When you guys see it, these episodes, they're brand new. But sometimes they could be sitting in the hard drive for months. Mm-hmm. What's it like for you to have, 2,500 songs just sitting in the hard drive?
Depressing. No, I think for a lot of it is therapy for me. So I'm glad to do it. I just want to share as much music as possible. Like while I'm here, this is my life's work, Mm-hmm. I don't have a partner. I don't have kids yet. I have a dog, so I do have a kid. But yeah, like everybody's looking for that one song to change their life, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's looking for that one person to change their life, like to come in, that one friend that changes everything, or partner, whatever it is. Like there's so many magical moments that we're just living in. Half the time, I think people just wait, to make things happen. I'm not a waiter. I don't wait on anybody. That's, I'm just like, either get out my way or help me. I'm not going to do that.
Hypothetically speaking, I'm very, interested in the single that right now, as we're filming this, you're really putting it out there to let people have a little glimpse of it. So what's it like to, kind of market a song to your audience? With, how long does it take? How long do you usually market that song before you release it out into the world?
Well, I decide what I'm going to put out. Nobody else, really. Obviously there's marketing things that come into play. They're like, this song's more marketable. But really, I just pick what I'm feeling, and this is the best song. And I really, really like this song. And I really, really like the person that I wrote it about. So, and I was just like, this is kind of a light relief to everything else. I'm just sick of being a sad girl. Like, I mean, it works for Adele, obviously. It's not quite worked for me like that yet, but I don't know. It just feels like it's a chapter in my life, and hypothetically, especially, is me and all my delusional dreams about, you know, what could happen. It's hopeful, and I'm trying to stay in a hopeful place and like gratitude. And yeah, I'm just excited because I think that is a really good segue into leading up to what's gonna come for Happy Hour.
Well, you know, one thing I'm hopeful for, well, we're going to take another quick break, and I'm hopeful that we can touch on you singing America's national anthem in front of GEODIS Park, which is absolutely awesome. I mean, before we take our break here, you know, let's talk about that real quick. So
let's not.
Are you a little, I mean, obviously it's a whole different national anthem. It's a scary song to sing.
It's a scary song to sing because some people have messed it up, and I don't want to be one of them people. I was saying to Sean today, I was like, I need to really like embed those words in my brain and start low. Oh, say, can you see? Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm like, as long as I start low, I'll be fine. Hopefully there'll be a teleprompter, is that how you say it?
Yeah, teleprompter.
I'm going to learn it.
There's never a teleprompter for that.
I think I know it anyway, but I also have God Save Our Gracious Queen.
But see, I couldn't sing that song either because
it's so much easier. It's so much easier than yours. Yours is like so up and down, and then it has like a big massive bit at the end, whereas ours is just like kind of monotone. God Save Our Gracious Queen, lonely and lonely. God Save Our Queen. That's it, pretty much.
It's pretty inspiring, the fact that you're willing and you're able to learn a song that is, you know, super. I'm not trying to build this up to be some scary thing.
I really do have anxiety about it, and
there's
also,
folks that sit there that have.
Please don't. What?
Well, so shout out to Harper Grace. Harper Grace is a friend of the show. Was on the show.
I love Harper. Yeah, but she talks about that. I'm like, firstly, girl, you were so tiny, and also you sounded fine. There is worse people that have said it was fine. In my mind, it was fine.
Okay, so what about Fergie?
No.
Are you going through this?
No.
Like, I'm not trying to scare you at all, but are you going through the worst and the best?
I don't want to be added to this list. I want to sing it like Chris Stapleton.
Ooh.
A Warren Treaty. Ooh. You know, like.
There you go.
But for my first one, I think I'm just going to play it safe, not do any of the
falsettos and things like that.
No, none of that shit. No.
Well, you know what? We're going to take our break right now, but I love the fact that it is kind of haunting you a little bit because you see the significance of the moment. And that says a lot.
Guys are so patriotic. I cannot mess this up. So I don't think I will. I'm a pro.
You are a pro.
I'll do it.
And we'll see it after the end of this episode. But real quick, we're going to take this quick break. We'll come right back. We have your questions to ask her. So we'll be right back right after this.
Your biggest musical influence?
Who's my biggest musical influence? This is really tough for me because I would say as a writer, probably someone like Billy Joel and Tupac and Dolly. As a performer, I would say Shania Twain, Bruno Mars.
I love Bruno Mars.
Lady Gaga, the Spice Girls, Pink, anybody that is like very like strong presence that can do it all. Taylor, like definitely everybody that could do Bruno, I think he's an amazing performer and singer and writer. I'd love to have a dance off with him. I grew up on like NSYNC, you know, like
the best.
The height of like.
Wait, were you NSYNC or a Backstreet Boy fan?
NSYNC. Baby, bye, bye, bye. I learned all those routines.
What was it about NSYNC that got, because see, I was a Backstreet Boy guy.
No, they had so many great songs. Dirty Pop.
Dirty Pop. Exactly. You cannot. You know what's scary though is as us being millennials are getting older, we got the Gen X, or is it Z? We got Gen Z coming in with their own versions. Like I don't think we were young enough to really find the groove for Justin Bieber when we were growing up, right? Were you into Justin Bieber growing up?
I was into Justin. Baby,
you were.
baby. Ooh.
Do you do this where you stay in an era like a couple of years that just really spoke to you?
Yeah.
What was the years you growing up that really spoke to you that you still listen to?
We had like, now this is what we call hits. Like now 58 hits, now 50 set. Like,
will they continue now later on?
Yeah.
You think
it's
so?
Like now, it's like every year compilation CD of all like the biggest hits that year. I don't know, like definitely Shania and Spice Girls, like anything that was going to make me dance and sing at the same time. Like I wouldn't come down for my dinner. I still dance every night before I go to bed. It's wild. Like people are like, oh, she's just dancing in a room. I'm not even joking. It's like weird. Like my boyfriend used to be like, what are you thumping about? And I'm like, and I'd come out sweating and he's like, have you just been dancing in there? I'm like, yeah, it's my like outlet. It's also my exercise, but it's a way that I can kind of like calm down and sort out my brain. It's so random, but I've done dancing since I've been a kid. It's good to get like the energy out, and like I love that shit.
Well, because you can also you've done classical, you've done every kind of dancing. What's the toughest dancing to do?
Ballet.
Yeah, I would only imagine.
Point.
Curious to know, because I know with ballet though that it has one of the highest injuries in all of sport or just music in general. Ballet is not to joke around.
No, I mean, if you do ballet, like you have got to be so strong. You have got to be so strong. I was never disciplined enough to like take it further. I never wanted to be a ballerina. I never wanted to dance in a company. I wanted to be center front.
Yeah, you wanted to be in the front of it.
And I wanted to sing, so I was like, nah. But I had really like physicality. Like my feet are amazing for it. I've got like great turnout. I'm very flexible. I've got strength. You know, I've got like a good flow about me. But yeah, some of my teachers always used to get a little bit annoyed because I used to go to these competitions and like pass and like, you know, get nominated and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to go.
Who's the better dancing? Is it UK or is it America? Who has the better dance moves when you go do it somewhere?
We do have a better nightlife. Like London is amazing. Like the only thing that irks me about Nashville is like when it's 1 o'clock and I want some food because I get hungry.
Disrespectful.
This girl gets hungry. Like it's the first thing I think about. Like when we go out, I'm like, where are we eating later? I got to make sure that I'm fed. You know, like you don't have anywhere to eat apart from like greasy, disgusting places. And I'm like, bear in mind, like I do like, it depends how drunk I am because I do like a good dive bar. But I'm like, in London, I can get a decent meal. Like
all times of the night.
All times of the night. I could just go to Balance on Old Compton Street.
Nashville is weird like that because you would think that there'd be more food available late at night. Shout out to Dino's that are feeding people late at night. But other than Dino's, there's not a lot of good food that you can have outside. And if you are going to be looking for some food late in Nashville, you have a long line waiting at you at the drive-thrus.
Yeah, I'm not about that. So I just usually go on for tea and toast. But
all right, now let's go on to this next question here that I got.
Most rewarding song you've been a part of?
Oh, most rewarding song. Probably The Way I Loved You. Like, I just love that song. And it's like, it went viral the first time I sang it. And I feel like a lot of people like connected with it. And it was honest, like truthful emotion. And that has been amazing because that song is kind of about losing somebody. But there's been so many stories that, you know, when we launched that, I started doing like these I love you letters, and where fans would just like write letters to somebody that they wanted to say, they still had something left to say. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And like telling people that they loved them, that they were no longer here. It was real healing to read. It on a soul level, it just made me realize that none of us are exempt from pain or suffering, and we all lose people that we love. That's the only thing we can't choose, is like who we lose and who we love.
100%.
And sometimes we don't have a choice in that, and that's tough. And grief is heavy, and everybody shares that. And just because you're smiling and you're like getting on with shit doesn't mean that you're not like hurting inside.
100%.
So that was very special to read people's stories. I felt very honored that they shared that with me. I felt like a diary, like, you know, they were sharing pieces of their diary with me. And yeah, it was awesome.
You know, speaking on that, I'm going to ask my last two questions of the show, and these folks know I ask it all the time. But speaking on that same kind of tone, so imposter syndrome. I think we all have imposter syndrome. Everyone does it in different ways. You may be struggling with it today. But what are your mechanisms to not let imposter syndrome get in your head? And what are some tricks to the trade that you can give the people watching this right now that may be going through the exact same thing to not let them get down?
Imposter syndrome. I don't think I'm at a level where I have imposter syndrome. I definitely have some moments though where I'm like, listen, the way I look at life is like everything is energy. It's in everything. Do you know what I mean? I love, one of my favorite quotes is like, I looked for me and I found only God. I looked for God and I found only me. I think it's the biggest misconception that we are not all connected. And I think the way that you can best serve yourself and the world is being authentically yourself. Because once you shine your light, it gives others permission to do the same. And I can sit here and I can tell you my journey has not been easy to Nashville. You know, I have had plenty of doors slammed in my face. People tell me what I am. I don't fit here. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. We don't even label people these days. All I'm interested in is whether you think my music is good or bad. There's two types of music. I'm just here existing on this planet for a very short amount of time. And I want to spread as much joy and as much light. And people want to be seen and people want to be known. There's no point being like, everyone can be loved, but not everybody can be loved and known. And that's like my worst fear. So it's scary to show yourself. It's scary to go all out. But I guarantee, like you see it on social media, the people that are absolutely themselves. Authenticity rules. It's the highest vibration. It's the highest frequency. Second to that is love. And I just think that's why people connect with people, and that's why you attract people. Like you want to like be around people that uplift you. You turn into the 5 friends that you're around. So I don't want to be surrounded by people that can tell me I can't do something. I'm like, anything is possible in this life if you're prepared to put the work in and you're disciplined and being a good person. Remembering people's names that actually that can like get you a long way. Like just little things, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, being yourself, dude, I don't know.
Hey, that was awesome. And I agree with everything you said there. Speaking of awesome, you know, my last question, it's 2024, right? And we're at the back end of 2024. So what are you looking forward to the most this rest of this year and the top of 2025?
A break. A break. I'm looking forward to turning the page on the sad girl stuff. I'm excited what the new year's going to bring in, or what it's bringing in now. I'm just like, I'm excited to play more shows, and, you know, like everything is like a domino effect. I can create something out of nothing a lot of the time. And I feel like we're laying the foundations of something that is going to be great. It is great anyway, and I'm really trying to enjoy where I'm at.
What about some upcoming shows the rest of the year?
We've got a tour coming. I get to play the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Hey, that's cool. I like that.
On the 2nd of November. That's cool. Sing the national anthem. Always looking for more shows. I really want to tour. I really want to go on tour with an artist. All that kind of stuff we're trying to figure out, because you know this industry.
You know what?
You need more numbers. You need this. You need that. Everything's reactionary. So I'm just trying to build, keep building my own fan base, and see what happens. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Now, okay, so the way we tee off your Walk the Line segment, which is like your day in the life segment, I cannot wait to see what that is going to be. I think we know what it's going to be, but I'm excited to see it. But the way we tee it off is you look straight into that camera right there, you say your name, and you say, this is how I walk the line, just like the Johnny Cash song, okay?
Okay. Do you want me to do it in an American accent?
You can do it however you please, but after this applause, you go ahead.
Hi, my name's Twinnie, and this is how I walk the line.
Hey.
Hi guys, it's Twinnie and I brought you to GEODIS Park, or GEODIS Park, however you pronounce it. I'm singing the national anthem, the American national anthem. I'm not even sure if that's legal, but here we are. I've just done my rehearsal and it went okay. And yeah, I'm still kind of probably more nervous than I've ever been to do anything in my entire life because I really want to make America proud. So that's what we're going to try and do. And now I'm going to go get changed because definitely can't sing the anthem like this. And this is the Nashville Football Club mascot.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let's change. Oh.
Really? Yes, I am. I've got a mate with me. Lovely. Love to meet you.
Nobody was wanting to do.
But I did sing the, when was Liverpool in the league?
How did you know it was 14? How did you know it was 14? How did they know it? That's my birthday.
I'm assuming we were talking.
I don't think you were. Look at that.
No, I didn't. Because I talked to him about it. There was no conversation.
I'm just filming content you caught me.
Please rise if you are able and remove your hats as Nashville-based British country pop artist and Opry alumni Twinnie performs the national anthem of the United States. Joining Twinnie performing the national anthem in American Sign Language is deaf performer Julius Akins from the Bridges for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing.
One, go.
Oh,